Welcome to the VarsityKansas.com Big Show. I am Joanna Chadwick of the Wichita Eagle and VarsityKansas.com, and we are taping here at KSN. My guest today is Derby boys basketball coach Brett Flory. Coach, thanks for being here.
Love being here. Thank you.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit, of course, the big talk of the past over the weekend, 3 days of basketball. So many teams, so many games out at the WATC Challenge there at Koch Arena. I was out there for the majority of those games. It was an amazing atmosphere. How good is that to have something in the City League versus the AVCTL?
Well, it's tons of fun for the kids. First of all, everybody loves getting a chance to be on the big stage and to play against teams that maybe you don't normally get a chance to play against. And certainly, it's a fun event. I like how it's not just necessarily the top tier teams, but teams that might struggle a little bit, they get a chance to be on the big stage too, just like the teams that are having a great season do. So it's a fun event, and I know certainly the AVCTL teams look forward to it because we don't get a chance to be in that type of environment very often.
Well, and it's also the site of 6A, Class 6A, which I think that's got to give you a little bit of an edge just to kind of get away those butterflies, the fact that you're playing on Wichita State's floor.
Yeah, and that's what you talk about when you're a 6A team. You're like, we hope we can get a chance to come back here, and certainly for us, that's a long-term goal. Hopefully we can reach it, but that is something you definitely talk about with your team, is that this is not the last time we want to play here. We want to come back if we can.
It was funny because I was listening to some coaches talk about, I want to get a picture here and I want to do this, and I'm thinking, I'm there for state basketball and for all those challenge games. I don't even think about it, but for those kids to be on that floor, especially how good Wichita State has been, it's got to be special.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. Every once in a while, like, I don't know if I saw it this year, but I remember last year one of the Wichita State players would walk through from practice or whatever in the practice facility, and everyone would stand up and cheer and stuff like that. And so it's a neat experience for the kids to be not only on that floor, but to just be a part of that college environment and feel that Division I, experience at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think I heard a story of Ron Baker walking through at one point, which I think pretty much ruined the whole warm-up for one girls team because they were
probably
too busy
so.
looking at Ron.
And if our girl managers were there, it would have been just as bad with them. So.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about, you did lose your game in the challenge, and talk about the loss and what you take from that loss going forward.
Well, first of all, we credit South with they made great plays in the second half of that game to get the job done against us. But we got up 16 and we just kind of relaxed. And then when you do that, it's hard to turn it back on because we relaxed. South went into the half, and Coach must have jumped their stuff pretty good because they came out in the second half really ready to go. And we try and flip the switch back on, all of a sudden it's not there anymore. And so that's the lesson we take forward from that is frustrating. We wanted to play really well there, and it's frustrating to lose a game like that. But credit South for making a ton of plays in the second half, and certainly we'll take that lesson that no matter what your lead is, you'd better not relax because their team's certainly good enough to come back on you.
Well, and I look at losses probably different than coaches do, and maybe the same way, actually, maybe different than what fans do, because losses are painful, but you have to utilize that to teach your kids how do we go forward and make sure that we extend our season, because it's more than just a 21-game season. You want it to be a 25-game season.
Sure, and even you got to take negatives and spin them into positives, and any team is going to go through stuff during the course of the year. There's that rare team that's a 25-0 run the table kind of team, but most teams are going to go through some stuff at some point, and so that's a life lesson about dealing with adversity and moving on to the next play in life, not just in a game. And in Lawrence High, I remember my sophomore year when we won the state championship, that team started 0-2, and they finished 21-4 state champions. So there's a lot to be learned from situations like that, so we're going to try to take that and move forward.
All right, well, let's talk about your next game, which is Andover Central. It doesn't slow down for you. I mean, that's a team that also did get beat in the challenge, but that's a very good team led by Daraja Parnell. What do you need to see from your team?
Well, it's going to be interesting because both teams aren't going to be happy with the way they played their last game. And Central, they normally shoot the ball really well, and they struggled shooting the ball from three against Heights, and that long zone probably had something to do with it that Heights plays, but yet they're not going to be satisfied with the way they played. We're not satisfied with the way we played, so I'm sure there's going to be two hungry teams playing. And Parnell, as we know, he's one of the best players in all the state. they surround him with a bunch of kids that can really shoot it, and Jesse does as good a job as anybody. And studying them on tape, they, even though not necessarily the biggest team, they rebound extremely hard. And we might be the only team they play that's actually smaller than them, so we're going to have to do a really good job on the backboards. But the main thing is we just need to get back to our identity, which is being an unbelievable hustle team, being really good in our pressure, and making things happen.
Well, and the person who leads that for you then is James Conley, who is a player that I've enjoyed watching. Since he really took on a role as a starter as a sophomore, and he's just so skilled and he's so athletic. He's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, he's developed over the course of 4 years. He played a decent amount of varsity as a freshman, and each year he's progressed and taken a step forward. And he's had some unbelievable moments this year. He, like all of us, was frustrated with our last game, so I'm sure he's going to want to come out and really play well. But the best thing I can say about Poppy, as we refer to him as, and most of his friends do, is that he's a menace in our pressure when he's really engaged defensively. He just gets his hand on so many balls and deflects and steals, and that really just sparks the way that we try to play.
Well, and he's so long. I mean, when you run him on anybody, it doesn't matter the size of that player, he's going to create some havoc.
Yes, he's very quick, he anticipates well, and he knows our system so well now, playing it for 4 years, that he knows where to be and when to be there. And, the challenge for him now is, this is kind of his year to be a leader of this team, and we've had some unbelievable leadership in the past with Jeremy last year, and guys like Taylor Sheburn, Tyler Chambers the year before that, and Kyler Stedman the year before that. So he's got big shoes to fill in terms of a leader, and he's still working and developing in that. And this next game will be a good test for him and for us to see how we're coming along.
Talk about the rest of the team too, because you have some real nice shooters and some nice guards, and Aaron Nicholson, Keaton Stedman, Nige Wright. Of course, those guys aren't very big, but they are real nice to watch because they can get to the rim or they can score.
Yeah, we have a bunch of kids that are just skilled kids, and when we move the ball and are totally unselfish, it's a lot of fun to watch us play because what we do defensively is fun, and then our ability to run the floor and shoot the ball is pretty good. So it's just a matter of getting back to our identity in this next game. And I thought last game we got away from a little bit, and hopefully we'll keep coming on. But they all like each other. They like playing with each other. They like practicing together, and so that makes it a lot of fun.
Well, and you add someone on Tuesday night. You have Salina Central on Friday night, but you add Daquan Love, who transferred in from Southeast. He's eligible finally after the 18 weeks that he had to set out. That's another long kid, and he's got height. What do you think he's going to be able to add for you guys?
Well, we've kind of been asking a junior Trevor Hall to basically be our only center, and we play some other kids out of position. Jonah Packard's played out of position to try to back him up. What Quan does is now we don't have to worry about fouls quite as much, number one, because he provides us that assurance, and hopefully shot blocking, rebounding, those are the things that he brings to the table that maybe we haven't had to this point. And he's another guy that gets along great with everyone, and I don't think there's going to be any issue with chemistry whatsoever adding someone like that to the mix because of the way our kids are and the way he is.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Big Show. I appreciate it, and good luck to you the rest of the year.
I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for watching the VarsityKansas.com Big Show. I hope that you will check out all our coverage of high school sports in the Wichita Eagle and on VarsityKansas.com. And if you have any story ideas, feel free to contact me. You can always catch me on Twitter at Joanna Chadwick, or I am also on Facebook, or, of course, you can reach me via email, jchadwick@wichitaeagle.com.